Of an expert, Gary Burnison. He is the CEO of Korn Ferry International. Gary, thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate your time.
Sure, good evening.
What's going on right now in the world of executive pay? We've been to this kind of whole thing with Kenneth Feinberg and the administration's point man on executive compensation. Is it really dividing itself into those that took government assistance and those that didn't?
Well, to some extent. You know, you've got 7 companies where there's a lot of focus on, but broadly speaking, yeah, there's a great deal of focus, say, on pay.
Corporate governance issue, right? This having to do with voting, shareholders voting for a say on pay.
Yeah, and there's certainly increased focus on succession planning in the boardroom. And that's really where it should start. And that would be my concern about legislating compensation, is that it really needs to start with the board of directors.
Well, have the board of directors of most companies, have they abrogated their responsibilities, or are they stepping up?
Oh, I don't know. You know, when the music is playing, everybody's dancing. And what happened a year ago, there was a free fall. And certainly this gives everybody a chance to look inside. And I think over the next 2 years, I mean, you're going to see boards placing a great deal more focus on compensation and the process.
What about the boards? I mean, do they need to have skin in the game in terms of owning shares, substantial amount of money in the companies that they buy in the open market like any other shareholder?
No, I don't think so. You know, their job is to represent the shareholders. I'm not so sure that it would be a good thing for them to be tied up in a lot of stock. And, you know, stock isn't the answer. I mean, if you look at Merrill Lynch, I mean, in 2006, you know, they changed their compensation plan. They used equity to a great extent. Look at AIG. You know, look at Cassano running the financial products division. You know, he left $69 million of deferred compensation. So it's not just a question of compensation. You know, quite frankly, there was just a failure of accountability. And there was probably some greed, too.
So is there a false linkage between compensation and risk management?
Well, there needs to be pay for performance. It needs to start with the strategic plan. You know, that's really where it has to start. But the question is, what is performance? You know, and how do you measure that? Is it a question of a quarter? Is it a question of 5 years? And one size doesn't fit all there. You know, you have to look case by case, and that's, again, where I think the boards need to step up.
Are you seeing any changes in this time frame, whether it be a quarter or indeed years? I mean, are we getting a situation now where boards are starting to look much more longer term?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're seeing a trend where executives' compensation, a great deal of their bonuses is tied to the future, tied to 3 years out, 5 years out, and you're going to see that trend continue.
Are we also going to see clawbacks for performance that's missed?
Well, that's good. You know, you could, but that's tough. You know, how do you really enforce that? You know, there's a lot of unintended consequences around that, but that's certainly one of the things they're talking about, and banking bonuses as well.
When you saw what happened with the government's intervention in these 7 companies, would a clawback clause have worked a little better there?
Oh, I don't think so. Look at the CEO of Lehman Brothers. You know, $500 million of compensation earned from '93 to 2006, largely deferred. You know, so we've had that. I don't think that was necessarily the issue. The issue is really, you know, broad-based, and it starts with board of directors.
All right. I want to thank you very much, Gary Burnison.